Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. We might have an online question, but we'll start off with in person. Go ahead.
How hard was it waiting? Because a lot of guys were getting opportunities early on, and yours all came relatively really late. What was that like? And were there conversations before, like, "Man, don't worry about it"?
It's never easy because you want to get in the game and show what you can do. You want to be able to replicate what you've been doing in practice to the court. But I also understand that we have a very young group and we have a bunch of good young players that need NBA reps before Washington this week when it's a real game. So it's that balance of, yeah, I've been there. I've played in 200 NBA games, whatever. I know how to perform when I'm out there. And so this is a chance for these young guys to go out, support them, try to coach them up when I can and help them out. But then that human nature side of you does, kind of itch in your brain a little bit, like, hey, I want to show what I can do. I want to, replicate it and prove that I belong in this league. So it's a battle. You have to wrestle it, and mentally it's a strength to be able to do those things. So I just tried to, the coaches are always saying, Sam, stay ready, Sam, stay ready. You're going to get a chance. And, in the final game, I finally got that chance to be out there, in third quarter, fourth quarter. And, very, very happy I was able to perform the way I did.
Did you feel a little pressure that way, though? It was kind of like down to your last shot.
Yeah. And, I don't think the only 5 preseason games with limited reps, it's hard to make all your decisions off of that. We've had a lot of practices, a lot of mini camps, a lot of reps together. They've been with me in the past couple of months every day. So they've seen me. But, on a stage like that, I felt a little pressure during the day, just talking with my dad or whatever. I'm like, man, I hope I get a chance tonight to really do it. And, you just got to go out there confident. And I've put in a lot of work, and kind of the thing I remind myself is you've shot too many shots, you've played too many possessions, and you've done too many reps to even think about it when you're out there. So you just got to go out there and let it fly, use your instinct, and play the game I was gifted to play.
Imagine that you formed friendships, like in your short time here with some of the guys on the team. What's it like kind of maintaining those friendships while also knowing that you're competing, very competitively with these guys?
That is the hardest part of the job. Especially, the quality of people we have in that locker room right now is, I was talking with my wife about this yesterday. I was saying, this is the coolest group of guys that I've been around in the NBA, because, our leaders are young. Our leaders are these guys that have scratched and crawled. Fred VanVleet, undrafted guy, he still has that DNA in him, so there's no seniority. There's no, I make this much. So, these guys are helping each other, cheering for each other, so unguaranteed guys are fighting for spots, but Isaac Bonga, Ish, Freddie Gillespie, those guys are some of the kindest human beings you could ever meet. So that is the hardest part of the job. For the coaches, it's the hardest part of the job. For the front office, it's the hardest part of the job. For the agents, it can go down and down and down. These guys work so hard and want this job. And, it's not just the money, it's the relationships, the pride, the love for the game. And, I'm not out there thinking about money. I'm out there thinking, I want to be back in the league. Don't want to go back overseas. And all those guys have the same thoughts as me. So, these are guys that I'll stay in touch with for a long time, no matter what happens. And I'm always going to cheer for them no matter what, because, it's the weakness of a man to root for someone to fail. So, whatever happens, I want those guys to have success in whatever aspect they do.
I would presume the last couple of years in Europe would have been very, very difficult, given pandemic, lifestyle, stuff like that. How important was it for you to at least get a shot back in the NBA at this point?
I'm so grateful to get a shot. It's funny, this is my 7th year, but I'm only 27 years old. I've had a lot of growth, a lot of learning to do. And those 2 years were hard. I'm not going to be, not going to beat around the bush. 2 years with pandemic, season cut short in Russia because of COVID, going back overseas, going to Turkey, locked down the whole year, basically alone because it's hard for your family to get out there due to the pandemic. And you have to do a lot of mental practice to get through those days because you're locked up in a foreign country in your apartment. I'm really lucky I had the support group I had over there, some former Raptors. I had, so they called us the Turk Telecom Rockets because we had Tyler Ennis, Kyle Wilcher, a couple of guys that have been over here, Nick Johnson. So we had some guys that I played with in the past, and having people like that gets you through those times. And my family and friends and wife, talking you through that stuff. So I'm tried to make the most of growing mentally. And that's translated on the court, both over there and coming back over here. Cause I was able to, realize, I'm sorry for putting it this way, how good I can be, how good I am on the court and why I am a pro. And I needed that. That was big for me. So coming back and translating that on an NBA court, it's special to be able to do it. I'm grateful for those 2 years.
That was my next question. What did you learn about yourself?
Man,
Exile wouldn't be the right word.
Mhm.
Yeah, both.
well, I learned that I didn't have it all figured out. And that's the biggest thing. You have to swallow your pride when you go over there, look yourself in the mirror, not be ashamed of yourself, but you got to recognize where you are, and you have to recognize what you have to grow on, because a lot of times guys go overseas and they think, I'm so good, I don't need to be over here. I played in the NBA, but there's guys over there with the same dreams as you. And you just have to go and listen and grow as a person. And that's the hardest part, I think, because we can all play. It's figuring out your roles, figuring out almost getting back to who you are. And, basically for me, it was shooting the ball consistently and confidently. And I know I had it. I have my whole life. It's just, I wasn't the best at keeping that focus, keeping that as a strength of mine. And going over there, it was all just mental practice for me. I changed the way I approached the game. I changed the way I practice at the game. And I changed the way I thought about myself. That's a big thing. Self-talk, meditation, breath work, almost psyching myself or bringing myself down instead of psyching myself up. And that was the biggest difference for me. So the 6 inches between the ears is probably the most important part in this business.
Speaking of that, I'm sure that's probably helping over the last few days, after the next few days. What have you been told about the situation when a decision went down, and how are you trying to?
I just know it's a very competitive group. That's what we've been. That's what the assessment has been, both in the locker room and I think above us. Those are the things that aren't in my control, right? The things I can control is how I am on the court and how I am in the locker room, and those things have been great. Everyone else has been doing great. So this is, like I said, the hardest part of the job for the player and personnel. It's we haven't gotten an answer. Clock is ticking. We feel it. We talk about it all the time. We kind of look at each other and just chuckle about it. But again, like we said earlier, I'm going to root for these guys. I'm going to root for all of them. They're good guys and they deserve this. They deserve the spot. We all do. So there isn't a wrong answer. There isn't a 100% correct answer. There is the answers, and we'll get those soon. Whatever happens, again, it's out of my control. All you can do is control what you can control. I know it's an old adage. People say it all the time, but the people that look left and right are the ones that are least happy. So I'm just trying to stay focused and stay calm through it.
Like whenever the decision is made that you have done, obviously you haven't made every shot or whatever, but you feel like you've done absolutely everything you could do, or do you think there's maybe something else that hasn't been seen?
Honestly, if we go honesty hour, I'm just going to say that I'll be able to go to bed at night happy with what I was able to do and proud of myself for this whole summer, this whole fall, the way I performed, the way I approached each day, and the relationships I've made. Those are the things that I'm proud of. I think I showed who I am as a player and as a person. And again, if one of us isn't chosen, it's not a knock on you as a person or player. We have 20 good players coming into camp. So it's not like, oh, we don't need that guy. It's more of, like, we got to go a different direction. This is, the art of the business. So again, no, I'm proud of myself for the way I've handled all of this, all the pressure and coming back. And the biggest thing that it solidified in my own mind is I am an NBA player, and it's sometimes the biggest person you have to prove that to is yourself. So that's where I'm at right now.
Do you feel like you didn't have that confidence, or you were talking about the mental side of it? Can you explain maybe more what was lacking last time?
Being comfortable. I've had 7 different staffs in 7 years. So a lot of people get a chance to grow within an organization and massage the process of getting ready to go. 7 or 8 games into my rookie year, the Rockets fired Kevin McHale. So 8 staffs. So we had 2 staffs that year, and then D'Antoni, and then Doc Rivers, and then Ty Lue, and then a firing, and Larry Drew, and then get traded, and then Scott Brooks, and then go to Russia and go to Turkey. So I feel like I've always had to prove myself, and that sometimes makes you a little anxious. And I think that's where it got me. I was always looking over my shoulder, trying to prove, hey, I'm doing this, hey, I'm doing that, and kind of driving myself crazy. And I think that's okay. I think the NBA's emphasis on mental health has shown that, like, we all feel this in this business, and being traded 3 times and not getting my options picked up, and, just fighting and clawing to stay in rotations, and having great games and having horrible games. And that all that gets in your head a little bit. And to go away, come back, I feel very refreshed, and now having these past few months to prove it. And I think have proven a lot. I feel very comfortable right now. So I think that, to answer your question in short, it's just finding yourself within a system. And it's hard when it kept changing. And as a young 21, 22-year-old, a lot of times it feels like it's moving really fast, and you just got to slow it down a little bit.